We back. We back. We back. We back. What's good? I miss y'all. I miss y'all for real. What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Shabazz. That's not any
What
bad.
that is, man.
Without you, bro. I miss y'all. You know, life is lifing, moving, uh, type shit, type shit. Huh?
Concerts,
Concerts,
he love us.
moving, voting.
He
You
wanted
know,
to be going on excursions and shit with his girlfriend, So just little old me had to hold it down for
what
the
you did?
game
You held it down for the gang goes, huh?
type shit.
Where? We here, man. Welcome to week 10 review. We got a lot to talk about. We have
We
a
do
lot to talk
have
about. A lot of vindication going around. A lot of vindication going around. So let's cut the BS. Drop a like, subscribe if you're new. Tell a friend to tell a friend, and let's get right real quick. Whole squad on the real shit. Ravens, my Ravens, escape. Yo, escape is a decent term for it. Um, we come back to win. Ravens come back
so
to beat.
let me explain it, and you gonna go off and boast about your Ravens, number one offense, and da. The reason why I put escape is because they went for two and missed. Now, of course, you guys have like 20 something seconds left, two timeouts. So who knows what would have happened in terms of you guys having like a chance to get the ball down the field, kick a field goal with Justin Tucker. You missed the extra point, so throw it out there. But still, Justin Tucker, one of the only kickers I would rely with my life still on the line for a game winning kick. Him and Brandon Aubrey right now are the top two kickers. There's been a lot of kicking issues this week. We don't talk about all of them. We don't talk about them all. But I say escape, and you're right. They did come back to like take the lead, but 2 point conversion doesn't go the Bengals' way. Shabazz is hype. Then they talked to him when it happened. He texted the trees like, let's go. But I put escape, came back to win. Whatever. It is what it is. It is what it is. But Ravens win. Ravens win. Go talk your shit, son. Talk your shit.
So we down 21-7, right? And I'm annoyed because one, I'm playing 2K with Natural and with Matt, and I'm half locked in. One, because I'm watching my team play. The other half is because we losing. Like, it's not like we going back and forth like the second half. The first half we was really struggling. That first drive by Cincinnati got me tight. Plethora of different reasons. One, because John Harbaugh fucked up the challenge and blew a timeout in the first drive. Which, if we had another timeout, we maybe could have gotten 3 points in the end of the first half instead of freaking Deontay Johnson having to try to get it and trip, and that's the end of the half. Then he wasted another timeout, so that's 2 timeouts in the first drive by Cincinnati, where I'm like, dude, you can't do this. You really can't. But they scored, and then third down in the first half, they were carving us up. And it was like it wasn't like 3rd and 5, 3rd and 4. Like, it wasn't 3rd and shorts. It was 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 12. And they were converting every time, which was very deflating. Not just as a fan, but I'm pretty sure if you're a defensive player, you're like, what can we do? Joe Burrow is not that mobile. But him being able to move up in the pocket, and then throw a dot to it was basically Jamar Chase. It was a Jamar Chase show. And he had 55 fantasy points. And I know the person woke up today upset because I won. I played Jamar Chase in fantasy and I still won. That's how you know I'm OP. But anyway, down 21-7. I'm like, fuck. Then we get the ball back to start the half. I'm like, fuck. 3 and out. And I'm like, no, this can't be happening. Marlon Humphrey, who's having an all-pro season. So as much shit as our pass defense as a collective is struggling, half of it is because in a lot of those games we've been up by so much that teams had to throw their way back into it. Tampa, and Dallas mainly are the ones that come into mind. But Marlon Humphrey, despite that, has been playing amazing ball. And that forced fumble that he got on the young bull Chase Brown shifted the tide. Because then we scored four straight times after that. Touchdowns. Not field goals, which is one of the commandments. You score touchdowns and not field goals. And once that happened, like Lamar took over. Now, freaking Cincinnati can't be doing one play touchdowns. Marcus Williams. But I'm going to attribute to this fact that our front end is playing better. Matabike, I was calling him out. I'm like, yo, bro, you got paid. Don't be one of these situations where you get your big bag and you don't show up anymore. We need that same intensity that you had last season where you had 10 plus sacks as a defensive tackle, which is hard to do. Being that force in the middle. The downside to this game was Kyle Hamilton got hurt, but it doesn't look like it's IR related. Like he'll be out for a couple weeks for sure. But I think because we played on Thursday, he probably won't play Sunday against Pittsburgh. But like after that, we solid. So a couple weeks sprained ankle, he'll be all right. Or if he plays, hey, be a warrior. But long term health, the most important thing. Trey White, I want to see him maybe get some snaps in. Can't wait to see how that works. And Keaton Mitchell, John Harbaugh said 3-headed monster. Mm, I don't know. I think I love Justice Hill and what he could do in a passing game, but I think it should be a 2-headed thing. I think it should be like Derrick Henry, Keaton Mitchell, like them two, like a Zeke and Tony Pollard situation. But Derrick Henry is much more explosive. Um, I think because I don't know because you're gonna incorporating two running backs is hard enough. Adding a third one there kind of messes up the flow. And I'm a huge fan of Keaton Mitchell. Before he got hurt, I was like, oh, this guy's amazing. Good rookie first. I don't know. That's up to Todd Monken and the coaching staff. I'm hoping the Harvey room is like no ego in there. Like we give Henry his touches. This Cincinnati, to their credit, had a great game plan on stopping the run, which freed up Rashad Bateman. Mark Andrews made some great catches, and then Zay Flowers, when he can, made some good third down conversions. But I like seeing Bateman have a huge bounce back game, because he had a couple drops against the Browns and it was bad. But he came out and he popped up and really like showed like, yo, like you give me opportunities, he's gonna make the most of them. And we won again, 7-3. And it makes you think like we're dropping 35, and it makes me happy that we've come this far with Lamar. You could come back for this too if you're down for it. But like it makes me so happy where people be like, "Oh, Lamar can't throw." He's second in the league in passing yards. Now Gino didn't play; he had to buy, and eventually he's gonna get like work himself out. But he's top 5 in passing yards, 24 touchdowns, which is the same output as a total of last season to 10 games. He's had 24 and only 2 interceptions. If they say Lamar can't come back, he's come back multiple times this season alone from double digits. It's like the only thing they can say now is like, can he do it in the playoffs? And everyone is talking about MVP talk. A lot of MVP candidates kind of flatlined this weekend. Well, as we talk about it, but I'm happy with the win. Obviously, not happy with how our defense is playing. Marlon Humphrey even said it too. Like this is not the standard of what we're used to, and I'm loving the accountability. But only words can take you for so long. This is the part. Like this is mid-November. Well, by the time you play is mid-November. Like this is the time where we're supposed to solidify what we are. So let's lock in. We'll talk about this tomorrow. I'm putting up the Ray Lewis jersey because I got to talk to the defense. Against Pittsburgh, it's Pittsburgh week. So come on. But Thursday night, I'm happy.
Everything you said was valid. What's concerning is your defense, man. Like, not everybody has a Jamar Chase. That's duh, right? Not everybody has a Justin Jefferson. Not everybody has a CD Lamb. And think about the three you played. Couple, you had Terry McLaurin, who's a tier below those guys. He didn't really go crazy. You played. Who else did you play? Just trying to think on top of my head. Bucks. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. They both get hurt that game, unfortunately, right? So it's like the teams, the guy who went crazy against you is Jamar Chase, top two. I think he's the best. You think it's Justin Jefferson. There's a conversation, an argument to be had. Top two, top whatever, right? So there's no stopping or slowing down that guy. I more accurately, as I had time to think about it, put the word escape because Bengals should have thrown to Chase.
They should have.
No matter what the coach calls, no matter when you are hot like that as a receiver, and and firstly your quarterback is your best friend. Like they say, oh, receiver is the quarterback's best friend. But genuinely, I believe that just like Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow have a friendship, a brotherhood that usurps a lot of stuff. Bro, if we lose off this, I'd rather give my best player an opportunity. So the fact that they didn't go to him, even though he had like again 11 catches, 200 some yards, 3 touchdowns, we was cooking all game. And it's crazy part, his stat line and the Bengals as a whole, like Joe Burrow said, it's like, bro, we're wasting Trey Hendrickson's leading the league in sacks, right? Which again, that's just more like all the greatness for the Bengals are still losing. I put it on Zach Taylor. I said he needs to be fired. And I talked to Corbett about this, and he's like, I don't know. I'm like, bruh, you keep losing games that like, your offense is putting up 500 plus yards of offense, and you keep losing. That's got to be coaching,
Yeah.
situational awareness. So I don't hate them going for two. I would have gone for two. Hell, in Madden, we don't believe in extra points. We go for two anyway. So it doesn't really matter. But it's just I don't know. I just think that the Bengals are 4-6. They still have a chance to make the playoffs and still be great. But winning the division, that's charged because you're down 2 games already to the Ravens. If you have the same record, like it's not gonna happen.
And they play Pittsburgh.
And you still have to play Pittsburgh twice. You have to play Pittsburgh twice. You still have to play the Browns again with their good defense, good to great defense. So who knows? Who knows? Then there's gonna be some games we speed past because there's not really much to talk about. 9 a.m. in Germany, the last 9 a.m. game of the season. The Panthers, they're streaking. They won 2 in a row. Shout out to them, man. Shout out to them. Shout out to Trevor Hubbard, by the way. Shout out to him. He I think he's like one of the only running backs. Him, Saquon, and Derrick Henry are the only ones that have 800 yards rushing this season so far. He's running really well with the ball. Bryce Young still inconsistent. He was like 11 or like 14 for 25, so he's okay. But they go through the running game. Chuba Hubbard also. Chuba Hubbard, I think it's Chuba. Giants had a chance to win this game, and Tyrone Tracy, a guy that we've been calling to get the ball more involved, he had like over 100 yards rushing, but a costly fumble in overtime leads them to lose. So someone had to lose this game. Someone had to win this game. The agenda begins for Giants fans and here's the thing too. I love Brian Daboll. What he did with the turnaround in his first season when he got there was amazing. But he can't rest on his laurels. He can't rest on that one turnaround season. You have to be consistent and elevate and go beyond that. So as much as I love him, as much as I like him, I help bring him on as the Saints. Bring a culture guy. I need a culture guy. I need Mike Vrabel. I need a Brian Daboll. I love those type of guys. But the Giants, man, it's a shame that Malik Neighbors, right? He didn't get a single target till like halfway through the second quarter. So it's like your best weapon. Why is Wando Robinson having like 10 catches? He didn't have, I don't know how many catches he had exactly, but why is he having so many targets? Yeah, they're doubling Malik Neighbors is fine, but give him the ball. Give him a chance. And speaking of doubling, one more thing I want to bring back to the Ravens. You said Justin Manabuke, right? You called for him to have a good game. I literally saw it like he gets doubled a lot. Like when you're a defensive tackle, like you're gonna get chip blocks. and like double team the lot, especially at the dynamic you are. So as much as that just means that other guys have one-on-one opportunities and they have to start feasting. So
Yep.
maybe that's the same situation with Malik Neighbors. He's getting doubled. Okay, you gotta feast. We gotta feast Wendell Robinson. You gotta start running the ball, Tyrone Tracy and Devin Singletary. The Giants suck right now. The Panthers suck. Germany, great crowd, but someone had to win.
So for this game, I was this close. Friday, I'm at work. I'm in the Survivor League at my job. I'm like, damn, I need a week. I was this close picking the Giants, but then I
You
changed it.
still alive?
Yeah, bro, still alive, man. It's like 5 of us left. So one of them went out because of Atlanta. So shout out to the Saints. Um, it was hard, bro. It was honestly hard. And Friday, I was like, nah, I'm going back to Buffalo. I had Buffalo as my survivor. Um, and even then, we'll talk about that. I think Daniel Jones played his last game as a Giant. I don't see a redeemable quality for them to keep him on. They paid him $40 million. That's not compared to what Trevor and J Love and Dak making whatever. $40 million is very, very reasonable price, and you could let that go. Like you could chop that all. Like, all right, fine. He threw one. Well, that first pick, the NHS, not his fault. On NHF, not his fault. They got batted up, and got picked. That second one, goal to goal, where they Tracy got them to the end zone. They didn't want to finish the job with him. Now I know he fumbled later in overtime. I get that, but if you do that, if you run the ball and score the touchdown, you're not in that situation because at that point Bryce Young was very inconsistent, like you mentioned, and Chuba Hubbard, shout out to him, he got a payday that week. He got an extension, so shout out to him. It's just like, yo, it's very difficult, and the fact that it's annoying, I feel bad for Matt, but the silver lining is, all right, at this point, it's not a foul yourself. Trade deadline's over. At this point, it's what can you like? Who can you salvage? Who are you gonna keep if you're gonna keep Dable or because you're in a bye week, so you could fire him. Like honestly, you really could. Um, and find out what you have. Try to win. Try to be competitive. But if you lose, you're drafting a quarterback. It's a pretty decent draft class. Personally, would love Shador in New York. That would be like movie, but I don't know. We'll see. But Giants got a lot of work to do, and the Panthers, like you said, they're streaking. Now, part of the vindication number one, Pats upset the Bears, 19-3. I have been rough on Caleb. I definitely have my criticism on Caleb. At this point, I'm pretty much valid. Can he improve? Can he get better than what he is? For sure. But it's kind of like he's been desensitized to the NFL. It's like he's not, because in the 3-game losing streak since the Hail Mary, bro, that Hail Mary, I'm telling you, that shifted the tide of everything. He hasn't thrown an interception. That means he's not trying to like make a big play. He's holding the ball for too long. He's not making it easier with their layups. And he's not communicating with his team. The traits that I saw in college, I'm like, yo, this dude is very, like, he's not a leader. He's not a leader of men. That's someone that you not like. He's not someone I want to go into the foxhole with. Getting it, and now you're like, hey, maybe we should have drafted an offensive lineman instead of Rome Odunze. You think so? You think so? Look at what the Chargers did. Chargers easily could have drafted one of the neighbors or anyone else. Not Marvin Harrison, they were too low. But Brian Thomas, like all these other receivers they could have drafted. They're like, no, we're gonna work it out in the trenches. And then they end up drafting Lab McConkey, and he's been solid so far. They got a running game, and they got an offensive line. Your quarterback, you drafted first overall, is getting killed out there. He got sacked like 8 or 9 times again. So, for as much shit as I could talk about Caleb, like it start from the GM. You got Keenan Allen and you got DJ Moore. You did not need Rome Odunze. And it brings back to the point of the Joe Burrow draft when they could have Chase or you could have Panay Sewell. And they traded, they got Chase, they got to the Super Bowl, but now look, he's getting killed out there. You don't need 3 great receivers. You really don't. You get 2 quality receivers, a good tight end in Cole Kmet, a running back in DeAndre Swift, and an offensive lineman who can block from the left side. You're gonna see so much better results. But yet they wanted the splash play, and there you go. So honestly, I can't. It's hard to now. They got the Shane Waldron who got fired, who got let go today. It's fine. Doesn't really move the needle. I just don't have faith. And then they had layups on their schedule. The Patriots game was supposed to be a layup before Arizona's actually a good team now, but Arizona's supposed to be a layup. They were leading the entire game again. Now they came back to take the lead against Washington and lose on the Hail Mary. Like shit like that before you start divisional play. Like we were talking in the group chat today. Oh, Matt said, "Oh, they're still in the mix." Not really. Not really, because they got all divisional games. So that's 6 right there that they probably will lose because they're not better than Minnesota. They're not better than Packers, and they're not better than Detroit. Then, well, Vikings might give you one because Sam Darnold looking like a pumpkin. Then you got San Fran in there. It's hard. It's hard to see them making the playoffs. And it's hard to see Caleb Williams living up to those expectations. So they got a lot to work to do.
So everything you said sounded like criticism, and it's facts. There's nothing really I can say to defend Caleb Williams. I Notre Dame guy. Obviously, I re-exposed him like last season, both like 48-17. Like we destroyed him, right? And I'm not saying his confidence was destroyed from that point, but it was one of those things where like you face an NFL quality offense, a defense rather, because the Notre Dame defense is like upper tier in college football. You face an NFL like defense, oh, you're gonna get exposed. So it's one of those things where like, damn, you hate to see it, but boom, he gets exposed, and he's like, okay, how do I get from there? The very last thing you said, expectations. Expectations is the enemy of progress. Right now, and Kevin Wild, shout out, we both watch First Things First, so shout out, fantastic show. Want to get to their level, we'll point we'll get them on the show at some point to talk shit, chop it up. Kevin Wild said it best. He's like, Drake May he might be throwing picks, but he's exciting. He's a rookie. He's supposed to get those bugs out the system, and he gives them the best chance to win. Jaden Daniels might be an outlier, but ever since the rib injury as well, offense has been a little shaky. But we'll talk about them later. But leader, with your point about I don't want my quarterback I want to be going in a foxhole with. Not all quarterbacks are like that. There are some guys you just, hey, Aaron Rodgers, talk about him later, like earlier. Matthew Stafford, Tua. Like there are guys I'm like, okay, well, all right, you don't have to rally the troops. Just perform and be good, and that's all that matters.
That's right? Fair. You're right. I can take that back. I can recant that.
So that's the one thing I was like, okay, let's like backtrack that. But everything else, yes. And Nick Wright was so harsh, not harsh, but defending this was like, he didn't get Shane Waldron fired, or Caleb Williams didn't say he wanted him fired, but his poor play for the last 3 weeks after their bye week, because that's the thing too. This is after their bye. where they
Mm-hmm.
lose a Hail Mary against the Commanders and only score 15 points. Then you haven't scored an offensive touchdown in 2 games. You scored 1 touchdown, technically 2 touchdowns against the Commanders. Should have been the go ahead, but the Cardinals, you got destroyed, 29-9. And then this game, as you mentioned, the layup on their schedule, completely outcoached. Out-schemed. The defense tried their best against Drake May, got an interception, got a couple picks, but they just can't seem to do anything. And now you have your other point about, they should have drafted an offensive lineman, so Rome Dunze. They drafted him, and then didn't they trade for Keenan Allen afterwards? No, I'm not. Beforehand, you're right. So it's a whole situation. But like when you got an offensive coordinator, trust me, I understand. Been a Saints fan for a long time. Last season, offensive coordinator was asked. Pete Carmichael was absolutely trash, not putting his receivers in the best position. Now again, Caleb Williams does hold on to the ball too long. But it's kind of weird. It's like he's getting some of those sacks was not on him, those are like coverage sacks where he's holding the ball for 5 seconds because literally everyone's covered, no one's open. But that's where he has to understand. Hey, live to fight another down. Throw the ball away. Don't hold on to the ball for 6 seconds in an NFL play and expect to be golden. So for you, Shabazz, because you deserve that. You've been calling it. You're not a hater. You just call like you see it, and you don't necessarily want him to fail. You want a black man to get his money, black man to be successful.
For sure.
But the telltale signs of earlier that you talked about was like, he can be a fantastic quarterback, but right now everyone's like, like he's the shit. I gotta give this to you.
Vindication.
And they've lost 3 straight. And hell, they play the Packers. They also, just like the Steelers, haven't played a divisional game. They have all 6 divisional games up the pike. Still. So it can get really, really, really bad in Chicago. You said, they'll get one against the Vikings, but their defense, Vikings defense is hellacious. They'll blitz the shit out of you, regardless. So good luck, because you also, I think, have the Niners as well. Let me see. Again, you have their 6 divisional games, so 2 against the Lions, 2 against the Packers, and 2 against the Vikings. You got the Seahawks and Niners mixed in there as well. You got one. I'll give you one gettable game in terms of the Seahawks. Every other game, you definitely can lose. In every other game, maybe exception with the Vikings games, you have the worst quarterback on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we'll see. Firing the coach, we might get that head coach bounce. Who knows? But the Packers coming off a bye. We'll talk about that tomorrow. 8:30, be there. First divisional game for Caleb Williams. Yes, it's a home game, which is great. But still, we'll see. Shout out
He's
to
just to start going by quicker because there's a lot of
Shabazz called. He had his Bills as a survivor pick. Shout out to him. Joe Flacco, those short picks. At this point, why not play Anthony Richardson? You scored 20 points. Really, 13, 20 came. The last touchdown came off of at the very end of the game. Why not see what the young buck got? Now, at this point, yes, you might lose games, but you're losing games regardless with Joe Flacco. The Colts have no idea what their future is like because they pulled the cord too early on Anthony Richardson. Now, again, I'm not saying I believed in rightfully so, wrongfully so. I thought that Joe Flacco would give them the best chance to win, but they're losing games because of him now. There's no 4 interceptions. We'll talk about a guy who threw 5 interceptions and still found a way to win a game. They're losing again against especially the high elite level of the AFC. Can't be throwing 4 picks. One that goes to pick 6. When your defense, for the most part, has the Bills under control.
Yep.
Bills threw Josh Allen threw 2 interceptions. They had him doing a rushing touchdown. James Cook had a rushing touchdown, and then the pick 6. Other than that, the defense was hellacious the entire day, harassing Josh Allen. But no, you keep giving the Bills short fields because you want to be Joe Flacco and not Joe Flacco. 4 picks, Bad works. Bills win. They have their matchup. This also could have been a look ahead spot as well. Could have been, they got their Super Bowl, as Nick Wright called it, next week against the Chiefs at home. So they could have looked ahead, but say no, we're gonna run the ball. We're gonna make sure Josh Allen throwing picks now when he was super clean for like the first 7 games. He's starting to throw interceptions now. It's that goblin mask. It's that goblin mask. Yo, fuck it, someone down there somewhere. Do you know who it is? Nah, fuck it. Like he has to rein it in, be dynamic, be a good athlete, and be a good quarterback, and not try to make plays. Trust in his receivers. We'll talk about that epic matchup tomorrow, 8:30. Be there. But Bills, GG's good win, and Colts. At what point? What do you have to lose? Put Anthony Richardson back in.
So you say that, right? And I'm literally picking up what you just put down. They kind of like dying with the sword. Like they put their stamp on it already. They can't recant. They cannot go back on what they just said. Like, you know how we talked about Caleb and I mentioned the leadership thing, and I can recant that because I can hold myself accountable because it's me and you. We own this shit. For ownership, GM, coaching, to go back to Anthony Richardson out of everything is like, what the fuck? Because you could have won this game, honestly. Jonathan Taylor owns the Bills. Like, he was killing them. But drive stallers and then the 4 interceptions, which could have been 5. Taron Johnson, I think that's his name. He had another one. He dropped it. So, like, the low key could have won another Jared Goff 5 for 5. Like, but I agree with you. Do you be honest and hold yourself accountable and put the young buck in? Because, hey, you seen with Bryce, he got benched, but he came back and it was like, oh, he learned something just by watching and observing and not being rushed into it. Granted, and they still lost either way, but now he on a 2-game winning streak. You never know these things with NFL rookies and second-year players. You honestly don't. So I agree with you. You put the young bull back in. Against the Jets who can't stop the run, hey, you might need some of that dynamic action. Josh Allen, I'll say this real quick. He was a MVP favorite too. He threw 2 interceptions. And now he's sliding out. Because the the elevating factor for Josh Allen was that he was going so well with like the yards and the touchdown, but without throwing any interceptions. But ever since he threw that first one against Seattle, every single week since then he's throwing an interception. So the Green Goblin mask, I don't know what the alter ego, the switches flip. Like, I'm making pay. And I do know first thing Monday, if the Bills beat the Chiefs, which I think they can beat the Chiefs, then that's gonna put Homie in the MVP favorite because he beat Mahomes. I digress. That's for tomorrow. But Josh Allen gotta get it together because they definitely could have lost this game, and I would have been so tight in my Survivor. Vikings. Oh my God, Vikings. Another one should have lost. Honestly, should have lost. And at what point now? You get it. This is the opposite of the Jamar Chase factor, because Justin Jefferson is the number 1 receiver, but majority of the picks that Sam Darnold threw, if not all of them, were targeted to Justin Jefferson, who you know is getting doubled and bracketed because you know he's so dynamic and great. You can get it. Justin Jefferson can be like the next Julio Jones, where he can get a bunch of yards and he don't need the touchdowns. Like, he could get you. Like, he's like literally the guy that could get you to the water. He doesn't need to drink it. He doesn't need to score the touchdown because you double him and tripling him. That's leaving TJ Hawkinson, who had a good game. Despite it only being 12-7, he had a good game. Like, it's just Sam Darnold. This is another week of you struggling. So you gotta lock in. Now Jacksonville, we done with Jacksonville. But Sam Darnold, if you're meant to be a serious threat to Detroit, to whoever. You have 7 wins, which is great. Now divisional play is starting to happen. Do not mess this up. Because it's not just setting up for the Vikings, but this is about your long term future as an NFL starting quarterback. Can you play well this stretch and get the Vikings to the playoffs and all that jazz? You might lose in the first round, that's fine. But getting them to the playoffs where no one expected them to be, you can set yourself up for success down the line. So this is a huge opportunity for because the defense did their job. But you can't throw, I think, 3 interceptions. However many interceptions, you can't throw that many. So I rock with you. You know, I'm a Vikings lover, Vikings supporter. I got my Jefferson. I see it right in my face, in my eyes. You got to get it together. I'll be right back.
Yeah, that's over. He said everything that needed to be said. To be fair, Vikings escape battle of trash quarterbacks. Yeah, Jacksonville's done. Their season's over. It's fine. And Doug Peterson's probably gonna get fired this season. But man, like for the first half, it was like 7-3. Jags had to win. They just had to just not turn the ball over. And then Mac Jones turned to Mac Jones, and there goes what you think. So it's just I have no thoughts. I have no oh my god, it's just a shame. Right? It's just a shame because these Vikings, like Sam Darnold, for all intents and purposes, was so fantastic and so dynamic the first 6 weeks of the season. And then now he's regressing in front of our eyes. And it's shame because we was like, oh, what are they gonna do with JJ McCarthy? What are they gonna do with JJ McCarthy? Do you pay Sam Darnold? Do you keep him? Like all of that goes to bed because you're like, well, shit, you can't really keep him because he's not really giving you that extra advantage if he keeps playing like this. Now, if you beat the teams you're supposed to beat, I believe the Vikings have the Titans next week, so you go 8-2. Boom, make the playoffs and see what happens. But you can't keep playing like this and expect to win games. Point blank, period. Oh man, oh man, oh man. I'm watching this game at the corner. My Saints have just won. And all of a sudden, we see, oh shit, Broncos, they get the first down. They're taking knees. They're taking victory formation essentially to center up the field goal, and then it gets blocked.
Yep.
Blocked field goal, and a lot of people on Twitter are like, Chiefs have dark magic. They like, and as a guy in the AFC, I'll ask this real quick question, and I'll continue talking. Would you rather the Chiefs be what at that point they would be 18-0 in the AFC title game, and then lose to you guys, or would you rather get their loss early?
As a person in the AFC or
That's
as
the Ravens. Let's say Ravens Chiefs AFC title game rematches in Kansas City, obviously because they're 17-0. They win their divisional game, cool, and then AFC title game, so they're 18-0. Would you rather them lose early in the season? Still lose to the Ravens, right? But
I would rather them go perfect and for the chance of perfection going to the Super Bowl, you lose. Yeah. But they should have lost week one. My fault. I'll make my point. But to answer your question,
okay,
I'd rather them be perfect and then lose to us in the AFC title game.
that's fair. Broncos, they had every chance to win this game. The offense got their first, they scored 14 points off rip. It was like, oh, shit. Okay, Denver. Then the Chiefs defense, like a boa, suffocating, slowed them down. Chris Jones, another big game, not necessarily a stats game, but impactful plays. Mahomes, not much of a stats game this time. He needed all the stats in the world to beat the Bucks last week. And I say again, it feels like Thanos. It's like I'm not a Chiefs fan. Mahomes, yes, is my favorite quarterback, but I'm not a Chiefs fan. But it's just But the Chiefs have what I want in my team, objectively speaking. A Hall of Fame coach, Hall of Fame quarterback, reliable weapons, and when it's time to clutch up, special teams. Like all three phases of the game are important. All three. And the Chiefs know this better than Andy Reid knows this better than anybody. He's seen everything, done everything, and won at the highest level for so long at this point that he knows having a great special teams matters. And I saw Pat McAfee, shout out to him, he like analyzed how the block punt, a block field goal happened. The same guy for weeks. The same like I don't know how to describe it as it's like the left guard or left tackle next to the kicker. What that point is, the same positional guy has terrible technique. And that's something that Andy Reid scouted on film. I was like, yo, we're gonna exploit that at some point. This wasn't also the first time Will Lutz has been blocked. He's been blocked a few other times. He's been blocked in the Saints. He's been blocked in Carolina. He's been blocked a few times because of the same guy. It's the same situation. So I got real nothing to add. Chiefs win again. They have the Bills, and they should run the table. They probably won't, but at this point,
do they? No, I think.
No. So Nick Wright, as big of a Kansas City fan as he is, he said they're going to get 3 losses. One of the divisional games, Buffalo, and then some dumb loss. This would have counted as 2 of those 3. A dumb loss and then a divisional game. But so again, somewhere down the line, the Chiefs are going to lose a divisional game. And he says divisional game against Buffalo and then a dumb, just inexplicable loss. Like that's how they're going to go 14-3. But
actually, low key 13-4. I think they lose to Pittsburgh. But I will get to that when the time comes.
Black Friday? No, Christmas Day.
Christmas Day, yeah. That'll be honestly either way. It's a Christmas miracle for me. If the Chiefs lose, it's cool. But my Christmas gift will be the Pittsburgh Steelers lose. I don't losing too. But for me, right, I think now you pose the question to me. I'm gonna pose the question to you. If the Chiefs go 17-0, is Mahomes the MVP?
My gut says no.
Okay, thank you. I agree with you.
Gut says no because it's like, bro, he's not good right now. Something. I don't know if I can't say Chris Broussard supernatural funk because he has games of like excellence or he'll make plays of excellence, but his stats is not
trash. He's playing bad.
This is the worst of his career. It's the worst of his career, but they're winning. And this is what I'm talking about Lamar. Lamar's having fantastic sex. Lamar doesn't give a fuck about MVP. He wants the granddaddy. He wants Super Bowl MVP. He doesn't give a damn about regular season. Yes, he's making it awesome. But Mahomes, he's at the point of his career. He's only like, 29 or 30? 29, I think.
He doesn't care about stats. 28, 29, one of those.
He doesn't care about stats. He wants to win. He doesn't care. He could throw 5 interceptions like Jared Goff did, and they win the game. That's all Mahomes cares about. So, yeah, I think that if he goes undefeated, he's not winning MVP. But at this point, he doesn't care. He's
already got 2 of them things.
He's chasing ghosts.
So, right, for me, I agree with you. The reason I asked is because I thought if you had said yes, I'm like, he's not playing well. And I was going to compare to the Tom Brady 16-0 season where he did win MVP, and he was playing, him and Randy was out, like, amazing together. Right? He's missing wide open throws. He's missing Kelsey on routine routes that they were due in their sleep years ago. They're missing those. And he's throwing picks more frequently. But style points, I'm part and partial to the QB wins. But like he makes the winning plays when it matters the most. Also helps to have the best defense in the game behind Chris Jones, who is always underrated. Like no one puts him in the upper echelon of defensive players, but like he's right there.
Real ball always no.
Say that shit. Real ballers know, bro. Honestly, and for me, it's like the Broncos win. I would have been happy, and honestly, the Broncos. I think they're over under with 6. I mean, with 5.5. So they have one more game to win. They can definitely get that. So I'm happy for them because no one would expect them to be in this position. To be, I think they're the 7th seed right now.
They are.
So like, if the season ended today, they'd be in the playoffs. No one would have thought that. They're making the best out of a bad situation. And Patrick Surtain, dog. Cortland Sutton, dog. Javante and Audrey Gasame, dogs. Bo Nix is playing smart, mature football because he played like the most college starts ever. And Sean Payton's doing wonders. So, am I concerned? No. That block punt is definitely unfortunate. But, eh, get them get gassed up. Now, Saints, y'all lost 7 straight prior to this. Y'all almost went 2 months straight without a dub. But y'all got it done. I'm so happy for y'all. And,
That's the first time we both won a game same week.
bro, for real, like it was crazy. It was some spooky shit, especially like you was 2-0, then we was 0-2, then we had a 5 game. Yeah, it was weird, but we both won. You know what I'm saying? We both won. For me, this game came down to the kicks. The young way cool, he missed his 3, and and then honestly, this game was just weird in general. Because defensively, I was doing a thing. Offensively, you had moments. Both team, Kirk Cousins he regressed a little bit. Um, it's just weird. And then you're like, Drake London always cooks the Saints, but he didn't get a lot more, especially in the second half. He didn't get a lot more opportunities that I would have liked. I'm not a Falcons fan, but game recognized game. Like every time Drake London plays the Saints, like I don't know what it is. It's like Jamar Chase of Baltimore. I don't know what it is, but boom. And then the most abnormal thing happened is Alvin Kamara dropping a pass on the seam route.
Boy,
It's
don't
like,
even get
yo,
me started with
I
that
was like,
shit.
if y'all lose because of that, I think that was the game where he got like all the like franchise records and all that. So shout out to
Mhm.
Alvin Kamara, one of the best to ever do it in the Saints uniform. But it was just weird, and it like what you guys won. I was so happy. I was so hyped for y'all. That's pretty much all I got.
It's not much, man. Our team is hurt to shit. We hurting, man. We hurting. Olave, we put him on IR. He's probably not gonna play for the rest of the season with concussion. So get well. Make sure your health is good. Health is your wealth at this point. Kamara, what's known to gotta be said. He's probably my favorite Saint outside of Drew Brees of all time. Finally got named captain after all this time. So he finally was wearing the captaincy. Again, he wasn't the captain, but was our leader like the entire time throughout this entire last couple of seasons without Drew Brees. Man, look, as much shit as I give my defense, like yeah, Bijan Robinson went crazy, but it's Bijan. It's like special running backs. I've been saying it for weeks. Kirk Cousins is not good. Not necessarily he's a bad quarterback, but I was saying for a while that Kirk Cousins they can't do 2 games in a row. They can't play 2 good games in a row. And also, Kirk Cousins doesn't have a passing touchdown against the Saints. He doesn't. He he lost. He beat us, yes, in week 4 with a muff punt, a pick six, and then 4 field goals. So in 8 quarters, they have 2 offensive touchdowns against us. So yeah, the Saints defense. Some Cam Jordan, the ageless wonder himself, not having the best season. But what happens? He's a Falcons killer. Gets his first sack of the season. Again, am I expecting us to make the playoffs? Absolutely not. Would it be fucking hilarious? Yes. But am I expecting it? No. When you have expectations, you're obviously let down. I'm not trying to be let down. I'm riding the wave. I'm riding the wave of what we got cooking. Darren Rizzi, hey, he might not get a full time head coaching role. He might know that hey, he's gonna enjoy these games. He is instilling back the old Saints way. And he said it best. I don't have the clip with me, but he said it best. We're trying to restore the dome to what its former glory. The Saints never lost at home. And if they did, it was like, whoa, big upset. We can't be having teams going into our building and putting up a better fight than we do. Now, again, our offense staled in the second half. I think we went out of the 6 possessions, we had 5 3-and-outs. So that's not good. But again, like, we're just finding ways to be together, man. We're finding ways to win, making it happen. The last thing I'm gonna say, because there's not much to say. There's not much to say in this game. That we win, which was fantastic. The last thing I'm gonna say, Derek Carr, give you a lot of shit for being inconsistent. In your press conference on the field, the reporter asked, "How does it feel to finally win a game after so long?" And to paraphrase, he said, shout out to Dennis Allen. He's the one that built this thing. No, he got fired because he was a terrible coach and couldn't build anything. So, way to take a great moment of beating the Falcons, right? And just ruin it because you want to mention Dennis Allen. For what reason? Because you know that Darren Rizzi doesn't really fuck with you. Because you know that Kamara doesn't really fuck with you. That Michael Thomas is saying that all this stuff is true about him, that he's inconsistent and garbage. All that stuff, but now because you know the guy who actually brought you here, Dennis Allen, is gone. So yeah, shout out to Dennis Allen for building this thing. Sure, whatever.
Whatever.
Niners beat the Bucks, made me happy, made me smile. Baker Mayfield, I got before I continue with that. Baker Mayfield's baller. Yeah, he's throwing in a little session. He has nobody. He has literally nobody, and yet putting up fights against everybody. The Chiefs on a short week, the Niners. Like Baker Mayfield, if they were winning games, I'd put him in MVP conversation. If they were winning games, but they're not because they don't have anybody. It's like a hamster wheel type situation. But Moody missed 3 kicks. I don't really got no much to add. Chris McCaffrey came back, had over 100 yards from scrimmage. Regular Chris McCaffrey stuff. Didn't score a touchdown, unfortunately. My big concern is this kicking game, special teams. The Niners keep losing, or they could have lost this game. This game, 23-20. It was a really competitive game. It wasn't. The Niners, for all intents and purposes, destroyed the Bucks. They had this game locked up. But you keep missing points. You keep not scoring touchdowns. That's one of the commandments. But when you do settle for 3 or a field goal attempt, you're missing. So you're having long drives end up in 0 points and allow the team like Tampa Bay to come back and get some confidence. Shout out to Ricky Pearsall. I want to hear your thoughts about this game and, more importantly, the Deebo Samuel situation. So for those who are uninitiated, Deebo Samuel.
Uninitiated is crazy.
Some people might not know what happened with Deebo. That's what I'm saying. So he pulls the long snapper and the kicker, more accurately, the long snapper's face mask. Like, yo, lock the fuck in. He's trying to motivate his guys. On one hand, I understand trying to motivate your people, but don't put your hands on somebody else, especially in football. Like, you don't put your hands on somebody because you're trying to inspire them. And then he's like getting in the face of the kicker, like, bro, stop missing kicks, stop missing. Like, you got this, but lock the fuck in. Makes the game-winning kick. Everyone's happy. Deebo's like, we're just trying to inspire him. Shannon Sharp said it the best. It's like, if he drops a game-winning touchdown, does the kicker have an opportunity to go to him like, yo, what happened? Why are you dropping shit?
Mm-hmm.
If George Kittle drops a pass and then they lose the game, does the punter have the right to go to George Kittle and talk shit? No. So it's an all circle. It's an encompassing thing. Quarterback and receiver, they have to be locked in and tuned. But you cannot put your hand on another brother's face mask and tell you to lock in from a position of power. Because in terms of the pecking order, Deebo is more important than the grand scheme of things for the Niners. And 2, it sets a bad trend. That if you start having a bad game, then anybody could go up to your face and start like getting into you and stuff like that. He
True.
knows he's missing kicks. He knows he's not locked in right now. He knows he has to lock in because one, he knows that if he misses another kick, if they lose this game because he has 4 mixed kicks, he's getting cut. He knows.
Nah, he was a third round pick.
It wasn't even Jake Moody. You're right. It's a new guy.
No, Moody was the guy, but they drafted him, I think, like last year in the third round. Like, that's high draft capital for a kicker now.
Yeah, so I was just shocked and disappointed in Debo. Like again, good. Just the Niners, man. I had them missing the playoffs, and they probably make it because the NFC is so just it's top heavy, and they might be able to sneak in. But man, the Niners, something's off in the organization right now. But that's all I really gotta say.
I don't know, man. I know they got Buffalo and Detroit on the docket.
They still got the Cardinals again and the Rams again.
So, hey, man, I think Nick Wright said week 18, 49ers Cardinals. Winner wins the division, loser misses the playoffs. That definitely scenarios in the air. But how I feel about the altercation, you just don't put your hands on another guy like that. Now, if scenario you miss the kick, here he comes up to you and like put like hands on his shoulder, like pat on the back, like yo, like it's okay, you got this. That's one thing. But to do what you described, or the video's out there. So if you want to go watch it, you can. It's on Twitter somewhere. With the extraness, that's different. So it's not. I think the message can be like fine, but how the message is like portrayed and acted on, that's where I draw an issue with. Baker's a dog. Nick Bosa's a bitch.
Nope.
No, because he's doing a hand fight. He don't want to really. He didn't really want to tackle Baker Mayfield. I'm like, what? He got stiff arm. Like, now Lamar does that to everybody. I'm not comparing Baker to Lamar, but Baker Mayfield is like pushing him away and then throwing the rock. Like, no, absolutely not. And this is now the Bucks are probably going to lose out a lot of these games because of lack of receiver, and that makes just that Baltimore loss, man. When you try to come back, or you could have just took the L. It's not our night. You would have had Godwin. If Godwin was there, oh, it's a totally different story. Because they might be Kansas City and they might be San Francisco because you have a valuable threat. But you have no threat, so they can easily just focus on stopping the run because they know you're not going to really pass for it. So Tabo was stupid, motherfucker. Now, to my chagrin, the Steelers beat the Commanders. Russ is 3-0 as a starter in Pittsburgh. So I'm going to give him credit. I'm actually going to give him credit. It's not Sierra's husband. It's not smoking that Russ pack. Nothing like that. No. I'm actually going to give him credit because I'm going to give Mike Tomlin a lot more credit because me, you, a lot of other people were criticizing him for making the move when he made the move. But it's paid dividends because, to be honest, does Justin Fields beat the Jets? I don't know.
Maybe.
Maybe.
It suck, but yeah.
Does he beat the Giants? Probably. Giants suck. Does he beat the Commanders when you need to throw some 50-50 balls? No. So for moments like this where you got Mike Williams, shots on Mike Williams, fuck the Jets, and then you got George Pickens, two of the best 50-50 contested catch guys in the game. Mike Will might be the best one. Mike Will, he was healthy in the Chargers, definitely was up there for sure. And then George Pickens, I said, this dude cannot get separation for nothing, but he could definitely get a contested goal. I've said that, and it's proven true because all he does is make spectacular catches contested because he can't get separation. But I digress. Defense didn't have their best game, but then you look at it like they're a different team without Brian Robertson, man. Like I think he was a late scratch, like before game time, and it's like, damn, like he has a different dimension because Eckler more of a receiving back, Nichols young buck, not really like a power back. He's an elusive back. It's kind of hard to put him in, but and in Jaden James, ever since the rib, he's not running, he's not scrambling like he used to. So their offense is kind of one dimensional without Brian Robertson, and it's easy to game plan against. Now Terry McLaurin had a hell of a day, which I was happy about. We're both huge fans of Terry McLaurin here on the show, so it's great to see him finally have a quarterback. But yeah, I think they were riding high, and they needed a loss. Get back to reality. Now they got a short week against Philly, divisional game. We'll see how that goes. But if you're Pittsburgh, you're happy. If you're Commanders, you're obviously upset. But you have first place up for grabs on Thursday. So like, okay, if you're Pittsburgh, okay, we won. Now you got Baltimore for first place because winner of this gets first place. So we'll see. We shall see how this goes. I'm definitely proud of Mike Tomlin for coaching this thing. I said it. I was proud and proud. Oh, Mike Tomlin's going to have a losing season. Still can happen. Still can happen. Can go 7-10. Fuck around and go 7-10. But probably not.
Play the Browns twice.
Browns twice. You probably going to split with us. So like, but you got all your divisional games, Kansas City and Philadelphia in there.
Yeah,
AJ Brown owns y'all, so that's an L right there.
Okay. Anyway, I put game of the week contender. There was a lot of good games. I think this probably was the best game. This and again, AFC North, best division in football. We say this every time. Yeah, everything you said was right. And as much as I love Justin Fields, he like if you look at the stats, like 10 point, they average 10 more points a game with us than with Justin. So they're scoring more effectively. They have more passing yards. They have the guys, George Pickens, and shout out to Najee Harris. You talk about the Commanders are a bad team or a different team without their running back. Najee Harris, Jalen Warren, they're able to run the ball effectively against almost anybody. Steelers didn't have their defensive game plan the entire game, but Jaden Daniels had the worst game of his career, which is saying something because he was fantastic so far. He had like lowest completion percentage, didn't have a passing touchdown. Like he just was not okay. And that's Mike Tomlin, and that's that defense, and that's just being prepared. I think Mike Tomlin goes to I think like 15-5 off of a bye. So like again, I knew the Steelers were going to win. I knew the Steelers were going to win. I picked them to win, but I also just figured out, okay, well, it's Mike Tomlin on a bye week. Give me Mike Tomlin all the time, and especially on a road against an upstart Commanders team and a rookie. What? Yeah, give me the Steelers, and they won. So GG's in that. These 4 o'clock slates was asked on the drive back. I almost actually just like cut it off and started listening to music. If you mind, can I speed blitz these? Because
for sure,
Chargers beat the Titans. No one thought it was going to be different. Chargers handle business. Chargers are 6-3, winning games. We talked about the same thing with Lamar Jackson. Doesn't care about stats, just win the fucking games. Justin Herbert. This is the best start to winning season wise that he's had. Jim Harbaugh, run the damn ball, play good defense, and have your quarterback make timely throws when it matters. Sign him up for that. Justin Herbert's fantastic. Not an MVP because he has the stats, but hell, being 6-3, getting healthier at the right time too, make it happen. Titans fucking suck. Cardinals, Jets, basura, trash. I don't know what other languages you can talk about. They have six points against the Cardinals team. Now the Cardinals are a fantastic team. You got to give them props. I thought they would finish last. They are not going to finish last. They're leading the NFC West. They're leading the NFC West. The Jets don't do anything well. You think, oh, the defense is going to be great. No, can't stop the run. Hell, last week against the Texans, couldn't stop the run. Why didn't the Texans run more? That's the Texans offense. We'll see how they're shaky. They're shaky. And I watched Breakfast Ball. The guy, I forgot the one of the guys' names. He was like, can't call him Sauce Gardner anymore. He's a mod now. He's a mod Gardner. He got rid of his.
Oh
He was.
wow.
He said it. He's a Jets fan. He was like, can't call him Sauce
Well,
Gardner.
Fred Carton.
Yeah, he's like, can't call him. Can't call him Sauce Gardner. He got bullied by Trey McBride on that play. Now again, Trey McBride's a big dude, but you got him dead to rights. And yeah, he also had 10 days rest and only scored 6 points.
Mm-hmm.
That's
That's
bad.
bad.
But firing Robert Saleh was the reason that the Jets are bad. That's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
And also Kyler Murray balling his head, balling out. Lastly, Eagles Detroit Cowgirls 34-6. This Cooper Rush, Trey Lance, I think they combined for 80 yards passing. Like this wasn't even a game. This was like just on national stage where the Cowboys shit the bed. Point blank period. And they have a tough schedule coming up. I don't think it's close. I don't think they win another game. They
Maybe
probably beat the Giants for Thanksgiving, and they might beat the Panthers. But Dak Prescott being out for the season, I called it. I also called it last week. I was like, yeah, he's out for the season. Like torn hamstring, that's not a 4-week injury. Like I called it last week. I was like, yes, he's out for the season. And boom, today, or I think yesterday, confirmed that he was out for the season. So I was like, yeah, that's literally the easiest call ever. Eagles still winning. I think they have 5 wins in a row, 5 or 4 wins in a row. They have their tough matchup. First place in the NFC East up to grabs on Thursday. I'm gonna be there. But yeah, I spent around those. But if there's any other thoughts you have on those, but
not really. The Jets just suck. Titans suck. And I just want you to win the bet so badly, bro. Bro, like Saints gotta hold it down. Like if y'all don't know, Natural and Moosey and also Jason have like $100 wager on who finishes with the better record between the Saints and the Jets. And y'all motherfuckers are tied. So like you gotta really lock in, all right?
yeah, losing 7 straight definitely doesn't help.
You know what I'm saying? Could have won one of them shits.
Wait, we on the uptake now. We on the uptake now.
I have no thoughts about the Monday game, to be honest with you.
Word. So real quick, Dolphins handle Rams. Rams. Oh my God. One, peek behind the curtain. Fucking Rams. I had a chance to win $130 last night. If the Rams won, that was a cashed out one parlay for like 30 cash or 25 cash. And then the over in this game. First fucking quarter is 7, like the Dolphins, boom, 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 go down the field, 7-0 with 3 minutes, boom. I'm like, oh, bet this is gonna be the easiest bet of my fucking life. Rams, pick, fumble, pick, drop ball, field goal, missed field goals. I'm like, Jesus Christ! One team showed up and the other one didn't. Like, goddamn, good job for the Dolphins, I guess. But it's like, are you actually kidding me? Like, no one can score. The Rams, like, nobody. Kyrie Williams had his worst game. Like, bruh. And also, separate thing, Nick Wright has Stafford as like the 10th best or like 6th best quarterback. No, he has 9 touchdowns and 7 picks. That's bad for business. That's bad works. Like, yes, most of the season was without Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. Nah, you can't judge because you judge Brock Purdy off those same standards. Oh, without the Avengers, Brock Purdy's ass. But he was winning games. So, nah, fuck Matthew Stafford. He's on my ban list now. I'm adding him to the ban list because I had money on this nigga. So I'm adding him to the ban list, man. I'm adding him to the ban list, man. I know it's an NBA ban list, but I'm adding him. I'm adding Matthew Stafford to it too.
Well, as he does that, Sunday night snooze fest. Honestly, I thought this was gonna be fireworks. I thought it was gonna be shots. But it honestly was like pick, 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 pick. It was crazy. 7 interceptions combined between the two quarterbacks. When that does, unless you're Nathan Peterman, that does not happen at all. And people go like, oh well, he got hit and it flew in the air for one of them. That's fine.
I mean, one of them was a Hail Mary at the end of the half, so okay.
That- okay, you have to contextualize some of these in real time, but like when you look back on the season, you're like, oh, he had, let's say he ends up like 38 touchdowns and like 8 interceptions. And you're like, oh, how the hell you got 8 interceptions? Right, one game he threw for 5. So it's like people thinking, oh, Jared Goff MVP. No, that's another candidate checked off. And then Jaden also, but he lost. So that's checked off. So it's so right now it's looking like Lamar. Looking like Lamar. Do I want that? I would love that for him individually. But I don't care. I want bowls. I want the ring.
Yeah.
But in terms of this game, Detroit found a way to win. I thought Houston played very too conservative. Like, granted, you had like a double-digit lead, but no. Like, you don't leave anything to chance. Again, because you've seen Detroit's track record prior to this week. You've seen what they've been able to do since week 2. They're the second hot. They're like damn near the hottest team in the league. Coming into your crib, you debuted new candy apple freaking helmets to look fire, whatever. But you don't go out like that. You put and I attribute this. I should give Detroit a lot of credit because I thought Joe Mixon was about to go nuts, but they held him in check the whole game. Nico was a late scratch. I think if Nico played, that's definitely a different dimension. But if the splits, we all be smacked. So you can't do this what if game. But I thought Joe Mixon was going to have a better game because I think every year, every season, every game this season that he was healthy in, he had like 100 scrimmage yards and a touchdown. So I thought that was going to because the Detroit's defense isn't that good, but they're making me think differently. And this was the Darius Smith who they traded for. So it's like they got an extra week to prepare with him. It's like, damn, Detroit might go on a run. Cause I don't know who they got. I know they got Buffalo, and I know they got San Francisco. And then the rest of it, like Vikings again, Packers again.
You talking about the Lions schedule?
Yeah.
The Lions don't play Buffalo. Oh, they do play Buffalo. Hold on. Yeah, they play Buffalo the day before our birthday.
Yeah, I know they play San Fran like the second to last week of the season, and they got the divisional games. So like, not to they probably lose a couple ones, but like,
here's their next 8 games: Jags
win.
Colts win, 2 against the Bears. We'll probably split. We'll see. Packers, they already beat them, and it doesn't really stop them that. Bills, Niners, okay, they might split one of those. And then the Vikings, who they already beat as well. That's 2 losses, maybe 3 losses left in the season.
I see they gonna clinch a playoff spot in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, and then obviously for them, they want the 1 seed because they don't have to go outside. And I said this, I was like, they literally, out of the 17 games they played, 3 of them are outside.
They already played one of them. They already played
Atlanta.
Atlanta.
One of them. So like they played the Bears and then the Niners. There are only 2 games left outdoors. Yeah, the Bears game is December 22nd, so that's gonna be cold or whatever. Well, Jared Goff already proved that he can go out and win in the cold. My biggest concern and about the media as hell, because Dan Orlovsky, as much as smart minded he is, he gives quarterbacks that he fuck with a lot of excuses. Like, oh, Jared Goff threw 5 interceptions, but they can still win the Super Bowl. I'm not saying that they came in the Super Bowl because he threw 5 picks. But it's got to be concerning that the 2 worst games of his season so far, the Bucks week 2, where he had like 3 interceptions, and then this game, yeah, they found the way to win this one, and that's great coaching. That's a team effort. They're 8-1 for a reason. And I'm not saying, oh, because I'm a Patrick Mahomes fan. He's been asked this season as well, but they win games. Finding ways to win, I don't penalize you for it. But you got to call a spade a spade. To say Jared Goff played a good game, no. Like you can't say, oh, in the fourth quarter he turned it up and was an MVP. No, because why? The same thing happened with Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence came back for 27 points down against the Chargers. Oh, he had a massive comeback. But if you're the reason why they're down, you can't get credit for coming back.
True.
That's my honest opinion. That's been consistent. If you are the reason your team is losing, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I understand it now, like Lethal Shooter, and then start cooking. No, you don't get credit for manufacturing a comeback because it makes it seem like you were selling in the first half or the first three quarters.
So do you saying that? Do you give Mahomes credit for coming back against Denver because he was part of the reason why they were down?
No, I don't give Mahomes credit, and that's why when you say, "Oh, if he goes 17-0, does he win the MVP?" No, because that's a situation where, again, this is why we're football fans. We played football. We've been fans for almost all of our life. Football is the ultimate team sport. That's why all three phases matter. That's why coaching matters. You can't just have talent. It's not like the NBA where it's player driven and player run. No, you have to have a great team around you. Because if you're one of your stars, i.e. Mahomes, i.e. Goff, i.e. Jaden Daniels, i.e. hell, CJ Stroud had a chance to win this game as well. If your quarterback has having a bad game, your team, defense, special teams have to carry the load. Running backs, all that good stuff have to carry the load. And Jameer Gibbs and David Montgomery, the best two-headed monster in the backfield in the entire league. What you said about the Texans, though, was perfectly valid. They got way too conservative, way too scared. You're up 23-7 at halftime, and you don't score another point? Was that being conservative? Was that because CJ Stroud tried to press, try to make a statement, try to, oh, I'm an MVP candidate? No, you're not, and it's okay. MVPs don't go. They don't hand out MVPs like candy, like the NBA, like Jokic. They don't.
Bro, when you think about that, real quick, there's only been the last 6 years, only been 3 MVPs.
Aaron Rodgers, Mahomes, and Lamar.
That's it.
Yeah, because those are at the times where Aaron Rodgers, his later years in Green Bay, was one of the best quarterbacks in the league, best players in the league, F that, and winning games. Lamar, winning games, 1 seed, dominant, all that good stuff. And Mahomes was known to got to be set. CJ Stroud, you're not on that level yet. This is only year 2. And a lot of people are like, oh my God, you haven't made the leap yet? CJ Stroud struggling. Why? Because we used to call it the sophomore slump. That used to be a thing.
Wait, is this a thing?
It's still a thing. It's just people like, oh, I wonder what happened with CJ Stroud. Oh, maybe because the defense has figured out his weaknesses. Maybe because his team is getting hurt to shit. Maybe, and we've watched a lot of football, sophomore slumps are not a bad thing. It's expected. Why are the Niners losing games, winning games, or whatever? Oh, Super Bowl hangover is a real thing. Philly, last season, lost games. They choked. They're supernatural funk. No, Super Bowl hangover. It hit them later on in the season. But even last season we were like, yo, this Eagles team is ass. They're just escaping with wins. And what happened? They lost 6 of the last 7 and got bounced in the wild card. The Niners are 4 and wait for it.
Fighting at 5-5. No.
Right now. And the playoffs started. They're out of the playoffs. Why? Super Bowl hangover. Sometimes I think it's like a law of nature. Sometimes the easiest explanation is the correct explanation. Don't have to be philosophical about it. You don't have to think, oh, there's an extraterrestrial reason. No, it's just the way things are for the entire history of the league. If you don't look at the past and you learn from history, you're doomed to repeat it. If you don't look for the trends and see the signs, oh, maybe the Niners aren't a good team. Hell, yeah, the Madden curse, that's a figment of our imagination or whatever. Nowadays, Chris McCaffrey got hurt. Tinnitus in his fucking Achilles. The fuck? Damn. But don't wish injury around people. It was like, it's okay. See the Stroud. What, now that we understand he's in a slump, how do you get out of it? How do you get out of it? And that's a DeMeco Ryans. That's a Bill Slowick, his offensive coordinator. That's a situation where we got to start figuring things out. Nico Collins coming back is going to help him for sure. 100%. And we'll see. If he still has a slump, then that's the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And they play Dallas, who can't stop the run, on Monday Night Football next week. So the downside to that, though, Michael Parsons was talking a lot of shit, and the Texans can't block him either. So it's gonna be a situation where if CJ Stroud has Nico Collins again, I will talk about it tomorrow. I'll pick the Texans. But if he's another late scratch, I'm probably I can't bet on Cooper Rush. Can't bet on Cooper Rush. That's it here. I'm sorry. Rant over. I'm good. Close this up, bro. I'm sorry. Close it
up. Parlay did not hit at all, which is fine. It was close. I think the Jets sold and the Giants sold, and the Patriots won. So like that would have been crazy. But life happens that way. I'm back. I miss doing this shit. We litty, man. We litty. Tomorrow, week 11. I'm scared, Nash. I'm scared. Week 11, man. We in the thick of things now, my boy. You don't got that much time left. So sad. But on the emotional shit, goddamn play. It's been week 10. Shabazz. That's Nanny Baps. Drop a like, subscribe if you're new. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Let me find it before I do my spiel. Hold up. Wait a minute. Hold up. Wait a minute. I found it. Thank you for guys for watching. Live your lives in the 4 F's and the V, which is faith, food, family, football, and
vindication.
And we'll see you guys tomorrow when we talk about week 11, spreads, all that good stuff. Who's winning each game? 8:30. You won't have a choice. Be there. You know, you can't miss it. I think it's gonna be a good show. I'm looking at the slate. Got some good matchups. Got some things that should be flex. But NFL teams are starting to be solidified on who they are, the contenders, the pretenders. We're gonna talk about it all. We in there. But have a good night, y'all. Peace.